Just do it. Just get it done. Do it, whatever it is.
Just do it.
And as much of a corny slogan that we have heard for so long now, it rings more true than ever. The slogan seems to know exactly what we're always struggling with, and that is never doing the thing, never doing the work. So let's actually just do it. Hello you guys, and welcome back to another video. It is Monday here for me. I'm not completely sure when I upload this, so maybe I'll call this the Monday motivational video. I just want to briefly talk about something that was inspired by a video that I saw by Robbins. On TikTok randomly this morning, there was like a 5-minute clip from her podcast, and I love her and her podcast. So if you never listen to her, please do, because she's so good. In my life, procrastination has been the bane of my existence. And I think it is for so many people, and I think that's why certain videos and certain themes ring true for so many people. And for me, in my life, with what I care about and what I love to learn about, what I love to talk about on this channel, which is self-development, growth, but also spirituality, healing, and feminine energy, and all of those things, there comes a point where you realize after you've made about
100 lists,
and then you make new lists to reorganize the old lists, and then you save about 1,300 new videos within a week. Every time you see a new video that motivates you, you think, oh great, now I'm inspired again. And then that dopamine falls down again, and then you're beneath that baseline that you even started at motivation-wise. And that just keeps going as if it's a vicious cycle where you try to convince yourself that you're okay. Because if you just keep planning, if you keep learning but not implementing, you'll be fine. So we're gonna fix that, and we're gonna decide for you to actually just do it. Why is that slogan so important? It's something we've heard so many times before, and for me personally, it doesn't really do much for me anymore because you hear it so often. But when Mel Robbins talked about it today, it just hit differently because she described every word. So she essentially asked the audience, in the slogan, just do it, which word is the most important? And they all collectively said, do. Which makes sense because I think I would have said the same. It's the action that you take that matters. It's the action that you take that matters. Sure, that's true. If you don't take action, you're never gonna get anywhere. If I'm not filming right now, if I don't edit later, if I don't upload, well, there's nothing that's gonna happen with my channel. If I didn't work out today, if I don't stick to my diet, I'm not gonna get to my goal body by the summer. I'm not gonna maintain my weight.
Whoopsie daisy.
And it sounds so obvious, yet we keep tricking ourselves and our brains into believing that if we just half make a plan, if we get motivated for a second, the work is already done. And then we're surprised when we actually start to try to do the work that we face so much resistance and we don't do the work. And why is that? Well, it's because you never broke through the resistance. How many times do you try to do something, or you start a challenge, you try to get up early, you try to work out, and then you last a week or two, if even that, and then the motivation falls because you're not seeing results fast enough. And that's because you're so used to planning things or envisioning things where you go from here, the current you, to the goal you, which is a great visualization exercise. But if you don't reverse engineer where you want to be to where you are now, and you actively and realistically do that work, do those steps, where are you going to go? Nowhere. So of course the action is quite literally everything. But then she said it. If you don't know it, meaning what is it that I want to do, and most importantly, why? You can do all day. You can be busy all day, right? I've fallen into that trap where, like you see all of those motivational workout videos. I can do 75 hard, which I am actually doing currently, and I can do hard things. I can do workout challenges. It does great things for me mentally, spiritually, physically, obviously. But it can also become a little bit toxic for me personally, and we all have our own things. So we can have that productivity toxicity, I guess we could call it, where we pretend as if I'm tired because I'm busy, then that means I must be doing something. But if you're not taking action that's moving the needle towards where you want to go, which means facing a lot of resistance because this thing matters to you, then you're never going to get there. If you're not willing to sit with the process and in the process of becoming, you're never going to get there. So it's not this one thing that you're going to have to just do. You need to realize the it that I'm working for, and most importantly, the why will then fuel it. So you have to look at, why is it that I want it? Because every single time you're showing up for that, probably for a long time while you're creating it, you need to have a solid personal why that you can rely on to motivate yourself, to drive you towards that goal. You need to understand, if you want to have a revenge glow up, sure, that's all fine and dandy, but I don't honestly know if it's going to fuel you to be healthy for your entire life. You need a reason of why you want to become a certain version of yourself. And that's the it, and that's the why. But I was so surprised, and that's just kind of my take on it. So these things aren't actually things that she said, so don't come for her if you don't agree. But what surprised me was when she ended it with, the most important thing is just. Because just, I would have been like, really? And that is because that word really encapsulates. Is that a word? Encapsulates. Is that a word? The whole essence of our issue. Because we can take action, and I guess we can also find out what we're doing it for. But really what we're having so much issue with is that it really is just do it. Just get it done. You're gonna have to just simply do it. You're gonna have to just show up. We are constantly procrastinating, and we are trying to protect ourselves from moving forward when we already know, and I've talked about this in another video, of never feeling ready, but you're gonna have to just do it to eventually be ready. If you want to be ready for an opportunity, for an audition, for an opportunity you never knew could come your way, but you can manifest it by way of becoming a better version of you, if you're going to get to that point, you can't sit around and dream and do the same things every single day. I can't tell you how many times I've spent hours on Pinterest that I feel so good, but then I feel drained and exhausted after, because I've spent so much mental energy and excitement on creating this little fantasy loop, and then afterwards I'm like, oh, and then you look around, you're like, it's the same life. That sucks. But the main thing I really want you to hone in on right now is hear my words when I say sometimes it takes the littlest things to make a humongous shift in your life. Energy can move so quickly, and maybe I'm feeling called to make this video because I'm pretty sure today is the day of the eclipses. Please go look up the April eclipse energy, especially on TikTok. So many good astrologers on there. I love astrology and spirituality, but I'm not that kind of a teacher. There's so much frantic energy right now, but I feel like it's pushing us collectively towards so many positive and amazing things. So what you need to understand is you probably already know what you want to do. You probably already know what you should do. And there is a reason why you're not doing it. Whether it's your fear of rejection, your fear of abandonment, you just simply not being good enough. A lot of times I think it's because when we try, we're faced with our own inadequacies. I don't really believe in the whole I'm afraid of success. I'm pretty sure I can handle it, but the success needs to come because I built it, because I'm the one who created it. It doesn't make sense to get success for something I didn't do. It's like getting money from the lottery. It doesn't really make so much sense, because now what? Listen, and by the way, to the universe, I'm not saying I'm not willing to open up for some good things to unexpectedly come in. Please do. But when you're in alignment and you're creating who you are actively, it's such a powerful thing that you're putting out to the universe, where you can then align with things coming in. And if we in moments can simply essentially stopping ourselves, then you're gonna notice what happens every single time you push through the procrastination, you push through the resistance, by giving yourself deadlines, by fueling yourself with a why, and just saying, I just have to do it. A great rule that I guess you could use would be Mel Robbins again, because she wrote a whole book on the 5-second rule, where she used to be in a completely different place in her life. And then one morning, she literally just decided that she was going to count backwards 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then she was just going to open her eyes and she was going to launch like a rocket going into space, and she was just going to get up and do it. And you can use that in every area of your life where you're sitting there on the fence, or you're like, nah, I'll do it some other time, and just say like, no, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to do it. One other thing I love in situations to use that I mentioned in my last podcast episode is I learned the first time around I did 75 hard to do bitch voice or boss voice, because we have both in us. And essentially, you have to choose in every single situation where you're wanting to cave into the bitch voice. You have to decide actively, no, I'm actually going to listen to the boss voice. And it sounds so simple and kind of ridiculous, but it can help you in so many situations in your life. It can bring you so much confidence because you see yourself pushing through. You see yourself becoming more resilient. You start to suddenly, like, I think it's Alex Hormozy who says that the way that you prove to yourself that you're not an imposter is by stacking evidence to prove otherwise. I will probably put in the quote because I love it and I totally definitely just butchered it. But at a certain point, you're gonna have to just do it. So please let me know, what is the it? Even if it's just a fraction of the it. Maybe it's not the whole entire life plan, but please understand that you can wake up in 20 years being like, holy crap, that flew by. And either I settled, or that thing that haunted me never went away, or I just thought that I had more time than I did, but I just kept dilly-dallying, I kept dreaming, I kept planning. And I thought that one day I would wake up and be this perfect version of myself, and it never happened. But maybe, just maybe, if I had just done it, if I had just done something, essentially, done something proactively towards what I know aligns with me, I would have gotten better. I would have seen myself being resilient, and I would have, in the process, learned these tools within myself of seeing myself getting better, of actively going towards things, into situations where I felt uncomfortable, where I felt fear, but essentially because I kept showing up to it, that is the thing and the key that allowed me to shift. It allowed me to take the steps, and all of a sudden, I am creating proactively a new identity where so many people just choose to stay stuck. I chose to have, like we can talk about in another video, a growth mindset that allowed me to grow. But we're never going to grow if we don't go. That was so cheesy, and I totally just came up with that. So maybe let's just end it on that. Let me know what it is, even if it's one thing that you want to do, that you're deciding to do, and when you're going to just do it. Spoiler alert, don't wait. Let me know, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video, and have an amazing day, week, night, morning, whatever it is. And yeah, bye.